Hi guys, I'm Rein, co-founder of +2 Films. A while ago on Instagram we asked if people were interested in a color grading tutorial, and more than 80 people were interested. So here we are. We always follow the same steps when we're color grading, but some clips need different adjustments than others. Think about white balance, exposure or skin tones that don't look right. I've created a step-by-step guide for you to download so you can use it whenever you're color grading. The link is in the description of this video. Before we start, I have something very important. Our LUTs, sound effects, really everything on our store is now 50% off. And you can claim your discount if you use code START50. It will be our only sale of the year as we're celebrating the start of the new wedding season. Enough of that, let's open Premiere and start color grading. I already isolated the part of the clip that I want to color grade and I add an adjustment layer. The first step is to convert our log footage to Rec. 709. We can do this using a converter LUT. Good to know before you move on, the converter LUT is different for each camera brand. You will receive one for each brand when you get our LUTs, but you can also download them from your camera brand's website. Another important thing to know is that it will affect your colors. Just like shooting with different lenses and ND filters, they will also have an effect on the final look. And that's why having a consistent workflow is so important. Now that we've converted our footage to Rec. 709, we can add the look. And this is the sauce, the base. And today I'll go for the +2 signature. We can change the intensity of the look by sliding the intensity slider, up or down. We normally keep it between 75 and 95, depending on the clip. So this is basically the beginning step every time, and we can now start grading the actual clip. But let me first take you through the settings we use in the Lumetri color panel. At the top you have the basic corrections. Here we adjust the white balance and exposure of the clip. If the white balance is off, you can grab the eyedropper tool and select something white in the frame. Premiere usually does a pretty good job, but sometimes you still need to tweak it slightly. This is also where we make light adjustments and add or reduce contrast. If you've underexposed your image, you can add light, and if you're overexposed your image, you can basically darken the image. Then we move on to the curves, and this is where it gets interesting. There are 3 different sliders we use regularly. First, the hue versus saturation slider. This is where you can add saturation to a specific color. I set keyframes around it and drag the middle point up. If I drag it down, I reduce the saturation. Next up, we got the hue versus hue. This is where you can shift a specific color. When I isolate the reds and oranges and drag it down, I can turn the couples into Shrek and Fiona. This is nice. The last one is the hue versus luma. This is where you can brighten or darken a specific color. It's especially useful for making skin tones pop a little bit more. It's pretty basic, but honestly, this is all you need to create great looking images. So let's continue grading our clip. We've converted our footage to Rec. 709 and added the +2 signature look. Now we select the clip and make some overall color and light adjustments. First, I'm going to add a bit more blue to the image, and then I'll lift the shadow slightly so the couple isn't too dark. You may need to do more work when an image isn't exposed right or the white balance is off, but in this case, we're good. I'm done with the overall adjustments in the basic corrections tab, so now we move on to the curves. First, the hue versus saturation. I isolate the blues and add a little bit more saturation. Then I move on to the hue versus hue, where I shift the yellow and green slightly towards the blue, giving the greens a deep, denser look. And lastly, I go to the hue versus luma and brighten the reds. Now that that's done, we can move on to the fun stuff. We're going to mask out our subjects, the couple. But first we need to duplicate the Lumetri color effect and reset its settings. Then we select the effect and go up to the Object Mask tool. This tool was recently added to Premiere Pro and it's incredible. It's so good. I select the couple, go to the Effects panel and click on Track Forward and Backwards. Once the tracking is done, any changes I'll make to the image will only apply to the couple. Under basic corrections, I'm going to add a little bit more blues and increase the contrast slightly by lifting the highlights and lowering the shadows. Then I move back to the curves, specifically the hue versus luma, where I add even more brightness to the skin tones. And I'm really happy with this look. Now we can do the same thing again. We duplicate the Lumetri color effect, reset the settings and invert the mask. That way, all the changes I make will only apply to the background. I want to add a bit more blue to the background, and I want to darken it slightly to create more separation between the subject and the background. And it already looks incredible. For the next step, I want to create something I call a focus mask. We duplicate the Lumetri color effect one more time, we reset the settings and delete the previous mask. Then I select the rectangle tool and draw a rough mask at the bottom of the frame. I feather it out heavily. And then I go up to basic corrections and lower the exposure slightly. This creates a subtle mask that helps guide the viewer's eye. It's a very small adjustment, but it naturally draws more attention to the couple and makes the image feel more intentional. That's it, done. This is the before and this is the after. Now I thought it would be fun to showcase some of the LUTs that are included in the LUT bundle. And I want to start with my favorite black and white LUT, which is the black tie. And to color grade this clip, I used the exact same steps as the clip we previously graded. I've added the look, made light adjustments, and then simply masked myself out, added contrast, and then darkened the background. And it just creates this very moody black and white look, which I love. The poolside LUT is also incredible, especially when there's a lot of green in the frame. It's just that the deep, rich green colors, it's so beautiful. And for this clip, it was literally drag and drop, and I was done. I'll also share some examples of how the different color LUTs look on the same clips, so you get a good comparison. So yeah, hopefully this gives you a good understanding of our color grading workflow. And a reminder, the LUTs, along with everything else in the store, is 50% off, so it's a great chance to get them. I want to wish you an amazing season, have some fun, dance on the dance floor, do whatever you want to do, and create some incredible films. Thanks guys.